We made it to Bohol yesterday after a little bit of a journey from Cebu. And now we're here on this incredible island of Bohol. I was here a couple of years ago. It really is just unreal. And since I've been here before, and since I've shot it like crazy, and since I raced all over this place, I think instead on this video what I want to do is show you the island, but while doing that, sprinkle in some like myths of life as a travel photographer. Okay, so we made it to the Tarsier Sanctuary, and I'm so excited to get in and see these little dudes. First, let me give you the first myth. The first myth is that you need to travel to be a travel photographer. Travel photography doesn't imply that the photographer travels. It implies that the photos make you want to travel. In fact, I know quite a few travel photographers that never go more than like 2 hours away from their hometowns. They just do images that inspire people to travel to that location. And as I mentioned, we're at the Tarsier Sanctuary. We're gonna go see these little dudes.
I go anywhere with you, 'cause you fill my mind, or you fill my mind. We could build a dream, start up something new, let the old be dead, let the shadows leave my head. And the world is on your shoulders and you feel like falling over, just come a little closer. I'll be there for you, I'll be there for you, 'cause when we are together, I know you feel the tension, just let me in your head.
Our Tarsier's the cutest, although one frame they kind of look really cute, the next frame they kind of look evil. They kind of look like Yoda. It's like 60 pesos, $1 to do a walk. The walk only takes like 5-10 minutes, so I think we're gonna do another one to get more footage. But before that, myth number two. Myth number two is that travel photographers work for somebody. They don't. Most of the time they're freelance, and I think that myth is perpetuated by Hollywood. I mean, look at the movie Walter Mitty. The travel photographer in that movie was just epic, and he was just traveling around the world doing epic things, sending his images to Time magazine, and then getting paid by check. That doesn't happen. 95% of travel photographers these days are freelancers. In fact, even the Nat Geo photographers, they don't just work for Nat Geo. They upload their content to Nat Geo stock, or they do assignments for Nat Geo, but they're still freelancers. Home from the Tarsiers and on to the next myth. Travel photographers, they just travel and take pictures. That's all we do. It's such a myth. In fact, comparatively, we do very little photo taking. I'd say that even when I was working my hardest as a travel photographer, for every full day that I was taking pictures, I was probably working on the computer for 4 days. In fact, it's just after 10 in the morning, and this is what the rest of my day looks like. The next myth is that it's a glamorous job, and I think this is kind of an idea that is perpetuated again by Hollywood, and probably Instagram and maybe travel photographers ourselves a little bit. But it's not always glamorous. Sure, there's moments that it can be, but for the most part, it's a lot of early mornings, it's a lot of hard work, and when you're starting out especially, it's a grind. In fact, there were times when I was starting that I had no money to pay for accommodation, and I actually slept on the beach in Brazil cuddling my camera gear just because I didn't have anywhere to stay that night. So it's not always glamorous.
You gotta play the cards that you've been dealt. I know that you get through it. What you fear is not a living here, no matter how you do it. 'Cause you will end up on top.
Just photographed sunrise here at the Chocolate Hills, one of the most iconic places in the Philippines, and a really good place to talk about the next myth of the travel photographer, which is that you only photograph iconic places. And I think that myth is so perpetuated that people believe all we do is travel around the world going to the most iconic places and photographing them. And the reality is, not only is that untrue, but if you did that, you'd never get paid. There's an ancient proverb in the world of photography that says, photographing iconic places gets you likes, it doesn't get you paid. In fact, 2 years ago when I came to the Philippines, I shot photos of the Chocolate Hills and they sold. I think I sold 2 images, made a little bit of money, but the vast majority of them are just collecting dust in the micro stocks. However, we're here on Alona Beach, which is also popular, but not an iconic place, and I sold images like crazy from here. Iconic places get you likes, they don't get you paid. I think that was Socrates. So I picked up Jody and we're here on Alona Beach, and I'm gonna get to my next myth. And the next myth is, can't remember what the next myth is. And the next myth is that you can just photograph whatever you want. In travel photography, you have to take images that cover the whole destination. You can't just rock up and take hero images of places like the Chocolate Hills. You have to go photograph the details. You have to photograph the food. You have to photograph the people, the culture. Okay, so we've come to like a cave that's here on Panglao Island, which is near where we're staying, and we're just exploring, or just gonna go explore. I want to talk about the next myth though, which is that you need great camera gear to be a travel photographer. You absolutely don't. My first year as a travel photographer, I had a Canon T2i and just a kit lens. My next 4 years after that, I had a 60D, which was a pretty good camera, the kit lens, a 50mm, and then an f2.8 200mm prime lens. So my camera gear was all worth less than $2,000. My first 6 years in the industry, I didn't have a full frame. I only finally upgraded to the 5D Mark IV a year ago. So you don't need great gear. You just kind of need work ethic. Hello. There's 2 of us.
Yes, 70 for 2.
It's just been raining, so we've come to the double suspension bridge, which is always busy. And we have it to ourselves, which is awesome. It's a bit of a travel photography trick. Wait till it rains, go out then, hope it stops, because then you have these incredible places all to yourself. That's not a myth. Do that. A myth is that you actually have to find new places all the time. I think so many travel photographers kind of get in this headspace that they always need to be discovering something new and some new location. You don't. You can photograph the iconic places. Just try to find a different angle to them. Jody's balance. Nothing, I'm not filming. Jody's balance is shocking. Granted, it's a bamboo bridge, literally just made out of bamboo. It's not super stable, but we're going at like tortoise pace.
You told me I could wear flip-flops today.
So I'm back up at the Chocolate Hills. Brought Jody this time because she's never been here before and she's blown away, right? Blown away by this place. And yeah, it's been a good day. We've kind of been tourists today. It's been pretty fun. The next myth I want to drop on you guys is that the travel photography industry is oversaturated. A lot of people have this idea that the photography industry in particular is oversaturated. Yes, there's more people taking pictures than ever, but I don't think there's ever been more demand for travel photos than there is now. Yes, the industry is saturated, but there's more ways of making money through photography than there's ever been, and there's more demand than there's ever been. It's easier to make money now in photography, especially travel photography, than it ever has before. This is the equivalent of about 500 US dollars. That's all I had to my name when I left to travel about 9 years ago. I also had $32,000 worth of student loan debt. So I hope that my experience in becoming a travel photographer dispels the myth that you need to be rich to become a travel photographer. That being said, having money definitely helps. It gives you a safety net, a buffer, and kind of like an investment in yourself. You see this all the time, especially in landscape photography. Any landscape photographer will tell you there's no harder niche in photography to make money than landscape photography. But yet, year after year, you see people rock up into the industry and say, I'm a professional landscape photographer, when they've actually never made a professional living from landscape photography. What happens is maybe they got a job on the side, or maybe they had a career for years and they have a bunch of money saved up, and they use that as an investment in themselves to try to become a professional landscape photographer. Kind of the same way I borrowed $32,000 worth of the government's money to try to become a political scientist. And that investment in themselves, they can use as a buffer to travel for 2 or 3 years without needing to make any money, instead making a name for themselves in the industry. And eventually, hopefully for them, over that time of 2 or 3 years, they can build a big enough name that they can then make a living off their landscape photography. So you don't need to be rich, but having some sort of investment definitely makes it a little less stressful. Now, it's morning and we're off to the airport.
Till the night is through, with you by my side, with you by my side. Though we've only met, let me down.
Another myth I hear all the time is that you are definitely gonna be poor if you're a travel photographer. And this is kind of the opposite of what I was just talking about. Travel photographers, yes, quite often we struggle for money, but it doesn't mean that you can't make good money, especially in today's day and age of the photography influencer or just social media in general. Yeah, you can make a really good living off of travel photography if you do things right and you work hard. And just like that, we're back in Manila. Before I leave you guys, one last myth today. Anybody could be a travel photographer. You know what? No, that's true. Anybody can be a travel photographer if you put in the hard work, you're willing to take the risk. You can become a travel photographer. You don't need to be special to do this career. Look at me, I can do it and I'm just a normal dude. We're back in Manila and it's actually kind of our last couple days here. So Philippines time's coming to a close. It's been a blast. Bohol was an amazing vacation photo trip thingy, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.